Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is part 4 of how to move and stop a manual car smoothly without stalling. In part 1, we talked about the best foot placement and we also talked about what is the biting point and how to find the biting point. In part 2, we talked about how to move off using the handbrake method and without using the handbrake. In part 3, we talked about how to stop a manual car, and also we talked about what is clutch costing and why it is bad. So if you haven't watched those lessons, I'll suggest that you go and watch them first because this video is actually a follow-up of those lessons. In this video, we're gonna talk about how to move off if you are parked on a hill. So this is how to do a hill start. We've actually kind of already touched on this when we talked about how to move a manual car using the handbrake. It's a similar process, but I'm going to show you how to do it on a hill. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Chris and I'm a driving instructor. I've been a driving instructor for the past 10 years. And on this channel, we talk about everything about driving a manual transmission. You can consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on future driving related videos. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to move off on a hill using the handbrake method. Now let's move off on a hill. So here I'm going to stop on the left. Now, as mentioned earlier, we usually recommend using the handbrake when moving off from a hill. It's possible to move off from a hill without stalling, but if you master doing the handbrake on one car, you can easily do a hill start on another car without a problem. So handbrake on, first gear, accelerate to about 1.5 to 2000 RPM, find the biting point and then hold the biting point. Now we are ready to move. So we check the mirrors, signal, and then check the blind spot. When safe to go, we release the handbrake and count 1, 2, 3, and then gently release the clutch and then continue to accelerate, of course. So that's how to move a manual car smoothly without stalling. Now, let's talk about some of the common mistakes to avoid when moving and stopping a manual car. Here are some mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1, releasing the clutch too quickly. If you let the clutch out too fast, the car will either stall or jump forward suddenly, which can be difficult to control. So as mentioned in the previous videos, if you are moving off from a stopped position, you want to aim to hold the clutch for about 3 seconds from the time that the car moves so that you avoid stalling. Mistake number 2. If you don't push the clutch all the way down before changing gears, you'll grind the gears, which can cause damage to the transmission over time. If you change gears and you hear a sound similar to this, you more likely didn't push the clutch all the way to the floor, and doing this over time will cause wear and tear to the gearbox. Mistake number 3, not fully releasing the clutch after a few seconds. Driving with your foot partially pressing the clutch affects the car performance and put extra wear on the clutch disc. Aim to release the clutch fully after about 3 seconds to avoid this. Mistake number 4, keeping your heel too high when releasing the clutch. For better control, slide your heel along the floor as you release the clutch. However, avoid keeping your heel in one place for too long as the clutch pedal might get caught under your foot, which can lead to loss of control. So when releasing the clutch to the biting point, you want to make sure that your foot is also coming up together with the clutch. But then when you get to the biting point, you can block and you can keep your heel slightly on the floor so that your foot has a little bit of support. And then when the car starts to move, you want to make sure that your whole foot is coming up together with the clutch so that the clutch doesn't get caught under your foot. Mistake number 5, taking too long to reach the biting point. On an incline, if you take too long to reach the biting point, the car may roll back. Practice reaching the biting point right away to prevent this. Mistake number 6, not applying enough accelerator when moving off. Many learners hesitate to press the accelerator firmly enough, especially when starting from a stop position, or even stall since there isn't enough power to engage the clutch smoothly. Practice finding the right amount of accelerator to help the car move off steadily. On the other hand, using excessive acceleration is also a problem and can overheat your clutch plates and cause it to burn. If you can smell a strange smell, that's actually the clutch burning, and you more likely used excessive accelerator when the clutch was near the biting point. Mistake number 7, releasing the handbrake too early on an incline. When starting on a hill, some learners release the handbrake before reaching the biting point, which can cause the car to roll back. To prevent this, hold the handbrake until you feel the clutch engage at the biting point, then release it as you add accelerator to move off smoothly. So accelerate, biting point, hold the clutch at the biting point, and then release the handbrake, and then you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, and then release the clutch. Of course, over time you'll be able to do this a little bit quicker, but when you are starting off, just remember, don't release the handbrake before you are at the biting point, otherwise the car is going to roll back. That's it for this video, and I hope you learned something useful. If you are learning to drive a manual and you are struggling with a particular area, feel free to leave a comment below. Together with others, we will do our best to help you out. In an upcoming manual video, we'll go over how and when to change gears from first to second, third, and so on. Keep practicing and stay positive. You'll have your license in no time. Thanks for watching.